Good evening, good morning, or good day, wherever it is. Hey, you did the right thing by clicking on this video. Hope you can stay longer. Pull up a chair, enjoy yourself. But Pelicans Daily presented by Fan Arch. I'm your host, Dylan Bruton. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. You know the drill, you know the routine. What's gotta be said don't gotta be said. But let's talk about things that do need to be said. Who do we pick with this pick number 23? Now, we reacquired the pick from the Indiana Pacers a couple days ago, and now there's been a lot of talk about, does this pick get used or does it get used in a trade chip for a superstar player or to help us move up in the draft? There's a lot of different scenarios, but let's just say that we keep this pick and we draft. Who do we go pick? There's a lot of talent in this draft. This is a very deep draft. I think this is one of the deepest classes in years. And when we take a step back, 5-10 years, that's going to be the sentiment that comes from that. You can quote me on that. And if I'm wrong, hey, yo, I will be first to admit, hey, man, I ain't know. I got it wrong. Hindsight is 2020. But in an article by my guy, Chris Lambert of Pelican Debrief, he talked about a prospect who I brought up a couple videos ago when I talked about Derek Queen taking his workout with us and him being one of the only lottery projected pick to work out with us. But a guy named Will Riley. Now, Will Riley, give a little background on him. 6'8", 180, out of from Illinois, Canadian. Dude played point guard in high school. Got to college, and he was next to Kasparis. The last name is not easy to say. Yakunis or something. That name hard. But his mama named him Kasparis. All right, so we gonna call him Kasparis. But they both came through, and they both enjoyed very good campaigns. And Will Riley was even awarded Big Ten Sixth Man of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Averaged 13, 4, and 2 on 43% from the field, 33 from the three, and 72 from the free throw line. And now, these aren't mind-blowing numbers, but these are very good numbers to start your collegiate career out with. And he's worked out with us already. So we already have an insight to the type of player he is. Illinois was not projected to make an NCAA tournament, and yet they still did. They were able to make it to the second round. They won their first round versus Xavier, 86-73, and Will had 22 points. Then they struggled next round versus Kentucky, 84-75, but and Will only had 5 points. But, averaged, you compile those stats together, he averaged about 14, 5 boards and a block to go with 41% from the field, 88 from the free throw line, 38 from three. Now, this man is young. He's a freshman, true freshman, and he's raw and he's skinny, but there's a lot of potential there, right? His ability to shift and play both the forward, play the two, or play the point, it's evidence there. He's got a nice jump shot for him. He can create a shot off the dribble. He's not the most explosive guy off the dribble, but the talent is definitely there. You can see the polish. You can see the skill. You can see his ability to recognize mismatches and how to capitalize off those. And some guys that he's been compared to, which, a very interesting group of names, because he also, shot 61% off of catch and shoot shots, and he measured exactly at 6'8". So these are things that are gonna have a team go, okay, I'm interested, I'm intrigued. Let's go forth, But he was Chris compared him to a less athletic Trey Murphy and a smaller MPJ, which that's still a very talented player. And at pick 23, you're not complaining about getting a Trey Murphy or an MPJ. That means you have all-star potential, could be more. Jalen Wells, who had a really good rookie year for the Grizzlies this past year, ended up getting all rookie first team despite being a second round pick. That you are never walking away from the draft feeling bad about yourself if you get a all rookie first team caliber player that high. Another guy's been compared to Cam Reddish. When fully healthy, I still believe in Cam Reddish. He's still young. He's still got a chance. But I could see it a bit of like the smoothness. Ochai Agabaji, solid player who has a lot of potential moving forward. Had a really good career at Kansas. Keyshawn George, who I'm like, I feel like y'all did that because they both Canadian. They look kind of like too. They both 6'8", but I can see it. Just that versatile, smooth player. Not a crazy athlete, but able to do and impact the game in a lot of ways. And then a guy whose name that we all know well, and fellow Duke guy like Cam Reddish. But B.I., Brandon Ingram. Now that name, I was like, as an ultimate ceiling at pick 23, you are not complaining at all. You're not complaining at all. People can say whatever they want about B.I., but B.I. enjoyed some great years with us. One of the most improved player, was an all-star. Played some big minutes in the playoffs for us. So, hey, you get a player of that caliber at pick 23. Oh, you're walking away with smiles. You're walking away incredibly happy. But boom or bust, going big or going home. That's the nature of the game. So, to talk about that, though, we got to talk about Mr. Ace Bailey. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole nother scouting report on him, but just know he's been compared to guys like Brandon Miller, Paul George, and KD. Okay? If that doesn't give you a snapshot of what his potential could be and look like, then, hey, I don't know what else to tell you. Young man averaged 18, 7 and a block, 46 from the field, 35 from 3. The name, the game, the confidence, he's got it all. Everything needed to become a face of the league type of player, he has got it. 100% by far. Like just has that enigma, that personality, as the kids call it, the aura, right? He's got everything needed. 6'8", small forward. Granted, smaller than the 6'10" initial listing, but you're not complaining. High level shot maker at that part of the, in that part of the game, you're not complaining. Now, Chris Lambert did another article, and he mentioned and reported that Ace actually canceled his dinner and private workout with the Sixers. Now, why that's important? The Sixers own the third pick. You've heard me several videos talk about us and the Sixers potentially getting into a trade. But his camp has also expressed the belief that the Wizards and the Nets, and then us, are going to move up. And if that happens, hey, then, hey, call the bluff. Call it out. But I think it's more so, some people might be looking at like, oh, he's audacious and shouldn't be, too cocky, shouldn't be, twice the pride, double the fall. But like, you got to believe in yourself at the end of the day, especially when you're a top 3 talent in the draft. It's very different when you're like a guy who's like a fringe first rounder or even a guy in the late lottery. Like, yeah, you can still talk, but it just, it doesn't hit with the same weight. The application isn't the same either. So with Ace Bailey being a top 3 talent, his peoples around him are trying to make sure that he's navigating this as smart as possible. He's got a chance to be a potential superstar wherever he goes, wherever he steps foot. So, they're looking out for his long term and making sure he goes to the right team, goes to somewhere where he's going to get that proper nourishment, that guidance, and he's going to be given opportunity, not buried on the bench. Now, given that he already kind of spurned the Sixers, gave them a polite middle finger, as some might call it. Looking at the rest of the draft, and it provides us a lot of opportunity, with trades. I think that this is my thought. If we could move up to pick 5, if Ace Bailey does, let's say the first 4 is Cooper, Dylan, let's say VJ slides into that 3rd spot, and then 4th, Derek Queen slides up into that 5th spot. Then if we can move up to pick 5 off of pick 7, not complaining. If we have to give up someone like CJ in the process, I don't want to come across like I'm hating. Every time I talk about CJ, I'm not. But I'm not complaining. Ace Bailey is that talented. He is that special. Again, I mean, just hear the name. The name alone screams a future basketball star. But that aside, the game matches up as well. And I think he's going to be a better pro than a better college player. You know, I think this development and the ceiling that he has is one of the highest in this draft, if not arguably the highest. Like, you know, as much as like, you know, Cooper is a generational prospect, Dylan Harper is too. There is so much unknown and intrigue, but also like tantalizingness of a player like Ace Bailey. So food for thought, but I think he's got a bright future, and I'm very excited to see what he ends up doing. And if we can get him by moving up to like pick 5, I am not complaining at all. I'm not. Y'all shouldn't either. That's getting your value. That's getting your bang for your buck. So yeah, if Ace Bailey is available, gotta at least try. You got to. You owe it to your franchise. You gotta try. But we might not have to try, but he might end up being our guy too. Mr. Tre Johnson, who I have also talked about more in depth. Check past videos. To very briefly, right? The young man had one of the best freshman seasons this past year. Also, one of the best arguably the best freshman season since the legendary Kevin Durant at Texas. He was the SEC Freshman of the Year. He broke 2 of KD's scoring records in terms of scoring points in a debut and most points in a single game. And he's been compared to guys like all-star players like Latrell Sprewell, Rip Hamilton, Allen Houston, and Tyler Hero. And he's been compared to guys who have, you know, that had all-star talent, might not have been able to put it all together, but you could see the intangibles. But guys like Cam Thomas, who he could change. He could be an all-star soon. Nick Young, Alec Burks, and O.J. Mayo. I'm a huge O.J. Mayo fan still to this day, man. O.J. was special. But Tre, right? Tre, we might not end up even, you know, making an attempt at Ace Bailey. We might just keep pick 7. Tre Johnson would fit perfectly. I'd say in this draft, no order, but the 3 best bucket getters is some combo of Ace, Tre, and Dylan. Them 3. By far, in terms of, roll a ball, 5 dribbles or less, make something happen, I got faith that all 3 of them could do that well. Looking at as a player like Tre Johnson, he is an absolute heat check in human form. You know, nonstop scoring, can score at every single part of the court, every level. I'm not opposed if we end up staying at 7 and picking Tre, especially given we don't know what's going to happen with Herb and Trey Murphy, and we don't know what's going to happen with CJ, and we don't know how DeJounte is going to come back. So there's a lot of questions just in general with our team, but a lot of questions surrounding our wings and our backcourt. And a player like Tre Johnson fits both as a small forward and / shooting guard. So if we have a chance to get a high-level shot maker like him at pick 7, again, that's a pick well spent. You're not walking from there feeling like, nah, we reached, we shouldn't have. Like, no, you're legitimately going, this is a good pick. That's smart. So, food for thought. But I think we have positioned ourselves a lot better in this draft. And I'm very excited. Drafts 5 days or less, so there's a lot more to cover, a lot more to talk about. But last bit before I go, responding to y'all. So, y'all leave some great comments. Y'all show a brother love. And let's kick it off. So I'm only gonna do 2, but again, this is something I want to make consistent, just so y'all can feel a part of it, y'all can feel acknowledged, and recognize that, hey, I'm with you as long as you with me. But Mr. Hennessy Rob, first off, I love your name, my brother. I love the name, iconic as ever. But he said, hoping Joe brings in some new development coaches. Now, this is something I really cannot stress enough. 100% agree with this. 100%. You need to have the right coaching personnel. Now, Willie Green, I think, has the potential ability to be, become a really, really good coach. But making sure he has the right assistants around him is going to be huge. I'm hoping that the right assistants are being vetted right now and are being looked at, and we get someone who is ready for the job, is experienced, but also has a forward-thinking basketball mind. We can't be playing in offensive sets that more so worked in the 90s, but don't work now. I mean, I love the 90s. Favorite era of just everything. But it's a different ball game now. So you have to adjust with the times. But I also hope we don't get, there's no assistant who's like so analytically focused that they can't see the nuances in the game. They can't adjust and add depth to play styles. So we need a coach who is versatile. We need an assistant coach who is able to, look at things in total. So, Hennessy, I'm in agreement with you, my man. We do need to bring in some new development coaches. And then last comment, Cold Joker 92. Still speaking of Willie Green. I just hope Joe Dumars is talking to Willie Green about draft prospects since he seems to never want to play and develop rookies. Give him a chance unless it was out of injury necessity. Now, this is also something that I agree with. Yes. Willie, if you can hear me dearly and hear me clearly, my brother. If we end up staying at pick 7 or pick 23, or we move up to pick 5, whoever we end up getting, make sure they get their legs under them. Make sure that they got to earn it. But if they earn it in camp, they earn it in practice, then give them the opportunity to go out there and ball. Give them the opportunity to go out there and go through, the hoops and hurdles and trials and tribulations, because that is the only way guys are going to be able to develop from, hey, I'm this college kid to I'm an NBA stud. That's the only way. Experience is the best teacher. So, Cold Joker, I'm in agreement with you. I hope that Willie doesn't, pull a Thibodeau and be like, nah, no rookies get playing time. Because, I mean, we've seen how that's ended up with someone like Tom Thibodeau. Not to punch down, but just got to speak real. So, I'm excited to see what happens. I think that this draft is going to open so many doors up. And I feel like as long as we draft well, we going to be good. We going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kendrick. But I really got faith that this draft, we're moving about it differently. We're not the same Pelicans as before. So get on now while the train is still at the station. You feel me? Get on now while the buck is still bucking. But, it's a lot to look forward to. And that's the thing to really take into account. Optimism. Optimism is going to be our best friend. So I'm very optimistic about this early future and how it's going to go moving forward. And y'all should too. But in the meantime, I appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Thank y'all for coming through, rocking out with me. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. And you know the drill. Pelicans Daily signing out. Y'all have a great and blessed weekend. Do something nice, do something special. And, watch some old Pelicans highlights. Make yourself happy. But y'all have a blessed one. Y'all have a good one. Ciao.